Dennis, can you hear us?
Both of us, I'm looking at his video, everything's off. Hmm.
All right, well, I'll start. Dennis, I hope you're able to hear us, but if not, we will keep going. All right, I'm going to share my screen here and pull up a couple of put this on do not disturb. Pull up a okay. Here's the bottom line here. There were several new forms. It's a pretty big change for West Virginia. And I'll just preface it by saying that the main thing that we're looking at is that they separated the home inspection and radon inspection and mold inspection from the long list of the contingencies in the contingency addendum, and they made them a standalone contingency. So I have it up here on my screen. Can you see it?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, but it's all one though. The home inspection rate on it. Is this the old one or the new one?
This is the new one.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
all on one. It's not separate. Okay,
correct.
I got you.
Yeah. So there's not three separate ones. There's just one addendum that covers all three inspections.
Gotcha.
And at the top here, there the miscellaneous provisions. You don't see that in NVAR. I think I'd have to go back and check. But an important safety tip here is that needs to be initialed and filled out because it contains some issues about this that apply to these contingencies. And if you are going to use this form at all, that paragraph 1 needs to be initialed by all parties. So this is the one where you have to have the utilities in service, and it's extended if the utilities are not in service. And then, the one, if you just fail to do the inspection, then tough luck, the contingencies will expire. So those apply if you're going to use this form at all, and that needs to be filled in. And the reason that I emphasize that is the first one that I saw this come through the office from a separate buyer, not in our office, where the sellers didn't have that initialed. So the agent just didn't understand the new form. And then paragraph 2 and 3 appear to be just borrowed, in whole from the NVIR forms. So these will look really familiar to you, that the home inspection with the option to negotiate or void, and then the void only is on the top of page 2. And that language is the same as it is in VAR, with the difference that you got to initial it. Well, I think you still have to initial it on the left side in Virginia too. But just a couple of reminders, wait a minute, somebody's calling. Let me see who this is.
Go ahead.
Good morning, Tim Murphy.
Hi, good morning. This is Giselle Dominguez with Properties and Estates. Are you?
Hey, I'm in the middle of some training, and I thought it was one of the people trying to get in. Can I call you back in about 45 minutes?
Sorry, I just requested to actually tour one of your listings, over in Fredericksburg on Mill Road.
Yeah,
When is the soonest possible time that someone could get in there for a tour?
hey, I'm sorry, guys.
Tim, go ahead. It doesn't matter. It's just me.
Yeah, hang on just a second.
Tim, go ahead.
Okay. What was the question again?
I'm sorry, I'm just looking at one of your properties.
Yeah, Mill Road, right? Yeah.
Is that able to be seen, within the next 20 to 30 minutes by chance? I don't know that it's.
Yes.
Vacant.
Yeah, it is vacant. You can go. Send us something through showing time, but
Yep, I just requested it.
okay. And if we don't answer, it's fine. You're good.
Still going?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
perfect.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you.
Sorry about that. I thought maybe it was somebody trying to get in.
No, you're okay. It's just us, so it doesn't matter.
Okay, so back to our screen here. Just a reminder that, and you all know this, you've been in the business forever, but the home inspection deadline means that's when you have to actually deliver the stuff to the client, not when the home inspection is done. And then for the people that are working in West Virginia, and this may, Nan, you may run into this working with West Virginia agents, but the language of the entire copy of the report must be given to the seller in subparagraph 1 and 2 there. That's new to West Virginia. So they aren't used to delivering the entire home inspection report if they void it or if they have deficiencies. So if they don't, ask them for it. And if they, equivocate, say, hey, that's the contract you signed. You need to deliver the whole copy of the report to us.
And that's only for if they back out, or the whole, with the inspection as well as an addendum to make repairs?
Yeah, it's
The whole
both.
thing.
So
Like it is in Northern
Yeah.
Virginia?
paragraph A1, subparagraph 1, little I, an entire report will be, listing the specific existing deficiencies and their remedy, but the entire report has to be delivered.
Okay.
Or an entire copy of the report and notice voiding the contract. So again, this is language that you've been using forever in Northern Virginia. But some of it is new to the West Virginia agents, so you have to do it. And then again, just a reminder that if you can't reach some agreement by the end of the negotiating period, the only real option you have is to, go ahead with the contract or void it. Which is why it's very wise to extend the negotiating period if you're having trouble getting to an agreement, but you think both sides still want to. And then on page 2 of this, the home inspection report with option to void only. That's just like it is in Virginia, so I don't need to go beyond that. And then radon testing, I think, is completely borrowed from Virginia as well. Haven't read through it. In paragraph B there, the guidelines include the requirements must be in place 12 hours prior to the scheduled test period. And so that's something, if you got a seller, you need to tell them about that. Hey, the radon testing is coming. You have to make sure you close all the doors and windows and keep them closed 12 hours prior. So the rest of it is same as Northern Virginia. And then, on page 3, there's this little, I will perform a mold inspection within blank days of the contract. This is not the same as Northern Virginia. It's just borrowed from the contingencies addendum, or taken out of the contingencies addendum from the old West Virginia form and put over here. It does not include any remedies or anything to do. What do I do if I find mold? And so that they really need to work on this, I think, on the forms committee over here in West Virginia. My suggestion to you is if there is mold, that you roll it into the home inspection remedy. So in other words, if you're going to do a mold inspection, you can do it after the home inspection, but you need to not release the home inspection until, if there's mold indicated, don't release the home inspection contingency until you agree on how you're going to deal with the mold. So that's a little confusing here. You know, you can say you're going to do a mold inspection, but if you do it after the home inspection and you find mold, there's really no contractual remedy, you know, that they have to deal with the mold, or you even being able to avoid the contract if you've already released the home inspection. So I'm planning on talking to the forms inspection or forms committee about that.
That's a good point.
But mold's important. Make sure that if you're going to do mold, or if you see signs of mold, that's rolled into the home inspection release, so that you have some contractual coverage.
Back up.
Yeah. So let me back out and go to the contingencies addendum.
I'm taking notes.
Okay.
I'm writing away.
Yeah. Come on, machine, go faster. So the contingencies addendum doesn't look too awfully different than it did before, except that those 3 inspections are no longer here. So here it is, same deal. At the top, if I have individual contingencies, I've got to initial that. So if you use this form for anything, make sure you initial the top one. If you see, I have a copy here in the office, but man, if you see one of these come through and there's a little sub paragraph below the second paragraph in paragraph 1, so individual inspection tendencies, and if the buyer fails to obtain an inspection, that's the same language from the other one. But when they first published this form, there was another little paragraph below that was not applicable. They just missed it when they were editing the forms, but they published it that way. And one of them that's come through since we launched the new forms had that initial. But if you see it, they're using an old form and it's not applicable.
Okay, not applicable.
Yeah. I don't think you'll see too many of it. It just, it's somebody that grabbed a form in about a 7-day period before they recognized they had a problem and corrected it and got a new one published.
Okay.
And then the rest of it is the same as before. So these haven't changed from the old contingencies form. You got private well, you got septic, what you're going to do with septic. You got the WDI inspection. So very, very often you'll have to use this just for the WDI. Settlement on buyer's property, coinciding. Those are all the same as they have been for a long time in West Virginia.
This is on the contingency addendum?
Yeah. These are all
Okay.
together on one addendum.
Gotcha.
One thing I'll point out to you is paragraph 10 there. That's the only HOA documents addendum. It's not written into the West Virginia Bain contract. So if you want to look at HOA documents and give your buyer an out, you got to make sure that you do it here in paragraph 10. if they want to do it. Most West Virginia sellers and agents, if they have an HOA, are getting the covenants and restrictions and putting them in the documents for the listing. So you actually should usually have those available to you.
We used to have to get those through the, updated ones through the title companies or attorneys.
Yeah, and that still is true. That's the best way to get them.
Okay.
And most good agents are doing that before they list the house, so that it's in the documents
Okay.
section. So your buyers can typically read those and agree to them before they even put an offer in. But if it's in an HOA and the document's not in there, and you want to give your buyer an out for reading the covenants and restrictions and having a chance to void, you've got to do that in paragraph 10, because it doesn't exist in the basic contract for West Virginia. Any questions on that?
Nope. So
Okay.
far, so good.
Otherwise, this all works the same as it did before. And then I'll go back to one here. And again, this will look very familiar to you, but it's new for West Virginia. So you may have to help West Virginia selling clients. Land sales contract. So this one was also published new just recently. It's all exactly the same as it has been, so read through it on your own time. I won't read through it all, but time is easy absence, deposit. These are all number of granted tax, down payment notices, delivery. That's all the same. Settlements all the same. Paragraph 10 is new because they never had a study period written in, or it was in a different place. So again, they just got the NVAR study period contingency paragraph and pasted it into here. So this, if you've done any land over in Northern Virginia, this looks exactly like that.
Good. They need that.
Yeah. No, this is a really good change. And then the rest of it is the same as it's always been.
Hey, Tim, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can now.
There he is.
Hey, man, I have been driving and I think my phone locked me out. I've been pressing the microphone button, but it wouldn't cut on until I pulled over. That's amazing.
Because you were driving, you couldn't hit the button.
Yeah.
Zoom knows you're driving.
Amazing. So I just pulled over and I'm sitting along the road listening, but I have been listening, and thanks for all the updates.
Okay. Any questions on any of that, Dennis?
No, I think it's self-explanatory. I'll be able to figure out when I get the papers in front of me.
Yeah. And, because you've been working Northern Virginia forever, you won't even recognize it as a change because it looks so familiar.
Okay.
But they actually did some good things here to their forms by, separating those contingencies and just borrowing from Northern Virginia to make them better.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's about time.
Yeah. I wish Northern Virginia would borrow their buyer broker agreement.
Oh yeah.
Because their West Virginia buyer broker agreement's 2 pages, it's so easy. And it's so much easier to go over with a new client than
like our old days.
6 pages of,
Are you allowed to use the Virginia buyer broker agreement over in West Virginia?
No, they really don't want you to do that because it's covering the brokerage. And if the brokerage is signing a form based on law that is not in the state that it's in,
okay,
that puts the brokerage at risk. Now, I will say if you hit a Northern Virginia, a West Virginia need for a form that doesn't exist in West Virginia,
Uh-huh.
then I don't mind you borrowing, and I don't think anybody else minds you borrowing the NVAR form because there is no West Virginia form.
Yeah, I don't know about Nan, but I don't subscribe, pay dues to the Eastern Panhandle Association. So I don't believe have access to the West Virginia forms unless you
Yeah,
correct me. So if I need that buyer broker form over there,
yeah,
which I may this year, I've got some clients wanting to move over there.
yeah.
Um,
Just let me know.
yeah,
Yeah,
I'll let you know. Okay, thank you.
I'll be.
Dennis, if you can't reach Tim, I do have access. I think I can get you one.
Oh,
Yeah,
great, Nan. Thank you also.
Yep.
yeah. We'll be happy to share forms with you. But well, good. I'm glad you got your phone figured out, and what you figured out is Zoom knows you're driving. That's pretty funny. I didn't know.
Yes, yes, it does. Well, I'm down here in Fairfax, so I'm going to jump back on these crazy roads and
Okay.
get to my destination. But thank you both.
All right. Sounds good.
Bye.
Man, I'm glad you got hooked up, and let me
Oh,
know
we're
if you run
done?
into yep, that's
Oh, okay.
those are the only main changes. And I will tell you, Nan, that the one error that I see really commonly on lead-based paint forms. In fact, let me just call it up here real quick since we have a minute.
I'm still listening too.
Okay.
Yep.
And I see it really commonly on the West Virginia forms, and it's I'm pretty hard over on that these are filled out right because the EPA can come in and fine the brokerage a ton of money if they find errors. But down here in paragraph 3, it's got I've read the lead-based painting warning. I've received copies of all information so it'd be 3D. Purchaser has received copies of all information, and then E is purchaser receives the pamphlet, protect your family from lead in your home. Over on the right in West Virginia, it says if none listed, initial here. And almost, in 99% of the forms, the seller has no knowledge of lead-based paint and has no reports or records. So they pick no, and then the purchaser signs that he's received copies of all the information listed above. Well, he hasn't received any information. So just watch for that as you're working with
All right, let's talk about that for a second. So
buyers. Yeah.
that's your basic uh that's your basic form. That's like the NVAR too, right?
Yeah. It should
But
be.
if the seller, I don't have the form in front of me, but if the seller is saying no, he's is unknown, he doesn't have any information, he's saying no, but received or read uh from the buyer's point or received a pamphlet, that pamphlet it wouldn't come from the seller anyway.
No, the
The
pamphlet is
information, we're talking about two different things, aren't we?
the pamphlet's a different issue.
That's your lead pamphlet.
That's down below.
Okay.
The seller has received the pamphlet, protect your family from lead in the home. So paragraph 3D is I've received the copy of the information that the seller listed.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay. Okay.
And in probably 99 times out of 100, the seller hasn't given them any information.
So that just stays blank.
So the D stays blank, but you initial over on the right where it says if none listed, initial here.
I gotcha.
So if you've actually received information, you initial on the left. If you haven't received, which is again 99 times out of 100, you initial on the right. So it's just something to watch for to make sure that these things are filled out correctly.
Okay. So it's like one or the other. Okay.
Yeah, one or the other, and it's almost always the one on the right.
Okay.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, well, I'll ask you a question. So
Yeah.
how strict are they? Because I see agents, they'll fill out that form whether or not it's prior to the 1978, was it? 1970?
Yeah.
We in Virginia don't use it at all.
My
Does
very
West
great,
Virginia require it?
no, it does not require it. from the state. And my very great desire and bent is let's not put ourselves to any risk by having this form if we don't need it. Don't
That's
put
how
it
I
in
agree.
there. But some brokerages over here in West Virginia require their agents to fill it out, whether or not they use it. And in fact, this is a great point to
Yeah, I've seen that.
Nan, because and they make this, if they use it that way, it's almost always wrong, which is why it really bugs me having it in. Because up at the top, it's, it says, was constructed after January 1st, 1978. If initial, complete section 5 only. Well, section 5 is just the signatures at the bottom of the page. So if it's built after 1978 and somebody sends you one of these and then they fill in no knowledge and agent's initial and section 4, send it back to them and say, hey, you initialed, it was built after 78. It says if initial, complete section 5 only. That's just the signatures. So
Okay.
this is why it drives me crazy to use this
Yeah.
form after.
Yeah, I was getting those.
Yeah.
I mean, years ago, but
Yeah.
it's like, I know some brokers were requiring it, but it was like, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that still exists over here. I think it's less and less, but some brokerages, the agent just says, my brokerage make me fill it out. But then if they do, then you should say, then fill it out right, read the form. It says if it's after 78, you only fill out section 5, which is just the signatures at the bottom.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Great. Y'all have a fun day.
All right. Well, thanks for your help on the patience.
Yeah.
Hopefully I'm and we're do this every Thursday now, right?
No, it's every 4th Thursday for West Virginia. So there's it is every Thursday, but it's the 1st Thursday for Virginia, and then Maryland's the 2nd Thursday, DC's the 3rd, and West Virginia's the 4th.
All right. Well,
So
I'll just wait for your invite.
For you, it'd be 1st and 4th. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Good.
Thank you,
All right,
guys.
Tim.
See you guys.
Take care.
Okay, bye now.
Bye.